Number 10. 13 Reasons Why. 13 Reasons Why tells the story of Hannah Baker, a teenager who committed suicide, but before she did, she made tapes and recorded her story. The 13 reasons that led to her ending her own life. Each reason is a person. The people on the tape range from friends who let her down to people who did terrible things to her. Show focuses on Clay Jensen, one of the kids who are on the tapes and went to the same school as Hannah. The story follows him as he listens to the tapes and tries to recreate what happened and grieve for Hannah, while Clay is pretty much the main character. The show explores how other kids into high school and the things they did or didn't do, how it affected Hannah, and how her suicide affected them. Dylan Minnette as Clay Jensen did a really great job. This is a complicated character, and Clay manages to capture a lot of the things that a teenager goes through, especially a teenager who's not really a social outcast, but is also not super popular. The other cast is pretty good in the show, and the story in the show is genuinely interesting too. 13 Reasons Why is an American teen drama television series developed for Netflix by Brian Yorkie. The series has 4 seasons. Fourth and final season premiered on June 2020. Number 9. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
The only person you're gonna scare is yourself.
The show tells the story of teenage girl Sabrina. So as her 16th birthday nears, Sabrina must choose between the witch world of her family and the human world of her friends. This is a show that's willing to both revel in the witch fantasy and to think about its limitations in a way I've never quite seen a TV show do before. To examine about what kind of women are allowed to be powerful and what kinds of boundaries are put upon them in consequence. Practical effects and the CGI are both things really good. They mesh together at points. You can tell it's a smaller budget, but overall pretty good. And don't worry, fans of the Sabrina television series from the 90s. This show is completely different. This show is based more on the comics and less on the television show. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is based on the Archie comic book series of the same name. Netflix canceled the series after 2 seasons due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Number 8. Atypical.
She thinks that I should put myself out there and find someone to have sex with.
The show tells the story of Sam and his family as he decides he wants to start dating. Sam is a high school senior who has autism. He's very high functioning, but he has trouble interpreting social cues, dealing with new situations that break away from his routine, and he has sensory issues that make it difficult for him to be in places that have very loud noises. So through that we see how living with Sam affects everybody in the family. His mom has trouble with the idea of Sam doing things on his own, but she's also frustrated that she spends her life in this role of the mom and doesn't really get to do anything for herself. Sam's dad has trouble connecting with him, and Casey, Sam's sister, is very protective of Sam. She loves him a lot, but it's also difficult for her to be her own person. This is a pretty fun show. There are a lot of fun moments. Not when the show is trying to be a comedy, but just fun moments between characters. Those were the moments that felt the most genuine, and they were the best part of the show. Atypical is very fast-paced. It's a very quick watch. Atypical does a good job in exploring all the characters in this family. The show is not just about Sam. Atypical is an American comedy drama television series created by Robia Rashid for Netflix. The series has 4 seasons. Fourth and final season premiered on July 2021. Number 7. Elite. Elite explores ideas and themes related to teenage dramas, however conjointly options a lot of progressive problems and alternative sides to its cliches. These embody several various sexual themes. Structurally, the series employs a transition plot that involves a mystery component, with every season going down in 2 timelines. The drama takes place at Spanish school, studying at 2 crucial moments in its characters' lives. Within the past, 3 new scholarship students come back to the college and quickly shake up its accepted social order. Within the story, one of the scholars has been dead, and everybody could be a suspect. Elite is a Spanish teen drama television series created for Netflix, and Netflix confirmed the show has been renewed for a 7th season. Number 6. Outer Banks. A group of teenagers from the wrong side of the tracks stumble upon a treasure map that unearths a long-buried secret. They're going to make enemies along the way as they uncover the secrets of the town. When these secrets start to get uncovered, you start realizing these kids actually have likable aspects to their personality. It progressively got better. It started out a tad bit rough, but it slowly started to become more and more entertained, especially once you hit what's actually going on. And when we're uncovering the truth of this mystery, that's what was so interesting. A different story with all of the young adult tropes that I think a lot of people enjoy. Outer Banks is an American action-adventure mystery teen drama streaming television series. The series was renewed for a 3rd season, which is set to premiere in 2023. Before we get into the top 5, our videos haven't been recommended on YouTube lately, so we'd really appreciate it if you would leave a like and watch our video until the end. I promise you won't regret. Number 5. Euphoria. Euphoria is a look at life for a group of high school students as they grapple with issues of drugs, sex, and violence. It's very graphic. Clearly they're not being played by high school-aged kids. They're older actors and actresses, but it's very intense. This is HBO, so we're used to dealing with those kind of things. It is way less of a comedy, but there are funny moments, and the characters within the show, some of their dialogue, and some of the conversations you can get on board, and you really gravitate towards them because of the likability, the way that they grow on you, and how every individual episode don't just focus on one character. Rue is the main character of this show, because the entire story is narrated from her, and it's kind of a look back into what happened, but it doesn't just follow her around for 8 episodes. Overall, Euphoria, just a great show, incredible performances by really everyone. The series has received numerous accolades, including nominations for the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Drama Series. The series was renewed for a 3rd season. We expect to see season 3 on our screens in early 2024, 2 years after season 2 came to an end. Number 4, Never Have I Ever.
What? Mom, I'm fast asleep!
This is all about the complicated life of an Indian-American teenage girl, Devi. Inspired by Mindy Kaling's own childhood, Devi was a great lead character in her relationships with not only her friends, but her enemies is what carries you on throughout this show. She is completely obsessed with this guy. He's the popular hot guy in high school. Maybe he's not the brightest, but she doesn't care. And she's digging out of a situation that she finds herself in after she lets something go a bit too far. Within that, you also have her relationship with her mother, and how that's a bit strained after what happened to her father. And you have the showcase of culture, the fact that she is an Indian-American teenage girl, and we get to see things from how she experiences being what she considers to be at times an outsider. And we get a look into her culture and what her cousin is going through who lives with her. We do have a narrator with this show. The narrator is tennis playing John McEnroe, who has won championships. It's the most random pairing, but it works so perfectly because his voice suits the tone so well, and he plays off of the situations that our lead gets herself into, and a 4th and final season set to premiere in 2023. Number 3, Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai is an American martial arts comedy drama television series, and a sequel to the original The Karate Kid films. Cobra Kai Season 1 tells the story of a struggling Johnny Lawrence as he reopens the Cobra Kai dojo and reignites his feud with Daniel LaRusso. Cobra Kai is actually a damn enjoyable show for not only fans of the original movie, but people who have never even seen the original movies. I think pretty much everybody across the board gives pretty good performances. The series was released on YouTube Red and YouTube Premium for the first 2 seasons, before moving to Netflix starting with the 3rd. The series attained high viewership on both YouTube and Netflix, and has received critical acclaim for its writing, performances, action sequences, humor, character development, and homage to the previous films. It has received numerous awards and nominations. Season 6 hasn't had the official nod yet, but is confident it'll happen soon. This also means that we may not see the return of Cobra Kai until late 2023. Number 2, Stranger Things. We knew eventually this day would arrive because, as they say, all good things must come to an end. The Duffer Brothers announced that Season 5 will be the final chapter for Stranger Things, the sci-fi series that's sustained global phenomenon status throughout its record-breaking run on Netflix. I think every one of you know all about Stranger Things, but I'm going to explain a little bit of the story if someone hasn't watched it yet. It tells the story of a young boy named Will Byers who disappears, and his mother, a police chief, and his group of friends who are investigating his disappearance, trying to figure out what happened. And some strange otherworldly forces just might be involved in some way, filled with amazingly talented performers bringing these unique characters to life. 3 kids who are now searching for their best friend. These kids were absolutely brilliant. They were so funny and so very likable. The character of a young girl with a shaved head who arrives, who doesn't say much, who clearly has a very damaged past. She is easily the most intriguing character in the show. This TV show is very much so inspired by Stephen King's early novels and Steven Spielberg's early films. Complete all 4 seasons on Netflix right now. The show remains in the UK's top 10 most watched shows months after the latest season dropped on Netflix. Stranger Things Season 5 filming will reportedly begin at some point in 2023. Number 1, Sex Education.
I've noticed you're pretending to masturbate.
Fans can't wait for the 4th season of Sex Education, and we already have the Season 4 trailer. This show, it's about a teenage virgin who lives with his sex therapist mother and teams up with a smart and edgy high school classmate to start their own health clinic. This show does make the audience laugh, and it's trying to spread a decent message. By the time you get to like episode 4 or 5, you are in all the way. You're in with these characters. You're in with this trio, you understand the relationships, and you are learning about these characters. 3 friends, Otis, Maeve, and Eric, great characters. It does follow a a bit of a predictable formula, as someone comes in and messes up the dynamic between friends. Somebody starts to get jealous, and somebody else starts to fall in love. You have that dynamic that we have seen multiple times before in teen movies and TV shows. But you really get to explore their relationships, and you understand why they are friends, and why they are helping each other. It's very well directed, and the show itself is really funny. I think a lot of people are going to be very excited for the new season. However, Sex Education Season 4 hasn't yet received a release date, although all indications point to an early 2023 winter opening.